you very much for being here, sir. We appreciate it.
It's an honor to be here. Yeah, it's really a great honor.
Well, we're really excited for you to help us kick off our intellectual theme, Human in the Machine, which is leadership on the emerging battlefield. And we want to make sure that the Academy and the cadets are focused on not tomorrow, but the next 20, 30, 40 years. And underlying the entire theme is an emphasis on the importance of preparing cadets for future warfare, and really where humans and machines intersect. And it's as if your background was made for this theme. However, I actually talked to quite a few people, and they really don't know who you are. Yeah. So,
neither do I.
Yeah. So I thought I should tell people a little bit about your bio.
Who am I?
Yeah, who are we really? Yeah, you'll make a company that figures it out, sir. All right. So if you don't know, and this is ridiculous, of course you know, but I'm going to do it anyways. Elon Musk, sitting next to me, co-founded and leads X, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink. Here's my favorite as an academic, The Boring Company. Oh, that was good. That was good. Come on.
Yeah, it started as a joke.
Yeah, it did.
And now it's real.
Well, it's awesome. By the way, you have a new company also, XAI.
Yeah.
And that's all of them unless you started one this morning I don't know about. I'm not sure, right? But basically what this means is everybody in this room has the opportunity, based on these companies, to drive a futuristic electric truck through a gigantic underground tunnel while using a digital connection in their brain to start a rocket while simultaneously getting updates on Army football. His innovations have revolutionized electric vehicles, batteries, space exploration, advanced human-machine interactions, made information access to information instantaneous, and have starting to help integrate AI throughout our daily lives. After the convocation, I'm hoping to have a little bit of time so you can give me some personal tips, because somehow you have founded and lead multiple companies. You're a father to multiple children, and I'm exhausted after 2 hours of coaching one kid's sport. That's
Sure.
it. So whatever you can do to help me out, I'd appreciate it. So we have cadets and staff and faculty who can speak on multiple disciplinary perspectives that would interest you. Drone swarms, electric batteries, molecular brain science, engineering, psychology, philosophy, law, Chinese language. But that's just the start. I think this one's particularly relevant because we can even cover the intense science of boxing with our world-class Department of Physical Education, just in case, you never know, some random head of state challenges you to a fight.
You know, I did challenge Putin to a one-on-one combat.
Did he take it?
No. And then I was like, I actually on the FK Twitter, I said I hereby challenge Vladimir Putin to one-on-one combat. And I made sure to use his name in Russian Cyrillic, and then I said, and the stakes are Ukraine, and the use for Ukrainian Cyrillic. And then the people thought I wasn't serious. And I'm like, no, I'm absolutely serious. I mean, he has he's good at judo, I hear, and I think it would be, the pay-per-view alone on that would be incredible.
I could get everybody in here to start chanting 2 men in or 1 man leaves.
Yeah.
2 men in or 1 man leaves. So,
I'd watch that, and I'm in it.
So I will tell you that our 31st superintendent, Douglas MacArthur, once said, "There's no substitute for victory."
Yeah.
And when it comes to fighting, it's not just our military, but it's also the whole country and the whole industrial base.
Yes.
That's so important. And you've innovated across so many areas, whether it's beneath Earth's surface, to outer space, and everything in between. And we're, again, truly, truly grateful for you to be here as we start to talk about some of these things that you've been working on. And as you look into the audience, I just want to give you a bit of context. A lot of these are the leaders who will face our nation's most complex and difficult challenges going forward. We have our cadets who will serve as Army officers leading hundreds and eventually thousands of soldiers through this complexity that we talk about. And we also have our faculty and who are preparing them to do just what I just said, lead through these complex situations. And many of our faculty will also re-enter the Army and be required to lead. Thank you for taking the time to help us think deeper and inform us as we start to inform our cadets on how we can be successful, not just fighting, but winning in the contemporary and future battle space. So let me start with this broad question. How do you see warfare transforming in the future?
The biggest effect, I think, by far is AI and drones. So the next, well, in fact, the current war in Ukraine is very much a drone war already. It's sort of a contest between Russia and China to see who can deploy the most number of drones. Now, if there's a major power war, it's very much going to be a drone war. It's going to be drones and AI, and it's a sort of. I do worry about the existential risk of AI, which is that if you employ AI and drones, do you go down this path where eventually you get to Terminator? Try to avoid that.
That'd be good.
That would be good.
Yeah.
Minimize the Terminator risk. But essentially, when you're making military drones, you are making Terminators, and when I think you'll somewhat be forced into at least giving the drone localized AI, because if the AI is far away, it can't control as well as localized AI. So,
what do you mean by localized AI?
Meaning it's autonomous killing machine.
Completely autonomous.
Well, you give it the okay.
Yeah.
In a particular arena, and it goes
with certain parameters.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah. Do you think our adversaries will have those same type of concerns or limitations?
Well, yeah. It depends on how much existential risk there is in these wars. So if it's a regional war, I think it'll be more tempered. If it goes beyond a regional war, then it's all bets are off, and then you start deploying things that you really wouldn't want to deploy. So hopefully, that doesn't happen.
But you said it, and I would agree that if you just look at the contemporary conflicts that are taking place, you would agree that machines aren't just disrupting warfare; they're now commonplace.
Drones are going to be overwhelmingly the what matters in any between any powers that have significant technology. It's so. My personal belief is that it'll actually be. I think probably too dangerous to have humans at the front. It's drones at the front.
It's too dangerous.
Drones don't miss.
Because of the lethality, then. It's
Yes.
too dangerous to have humans at the front.
Yes. If you've seen some of the computer-controlled sniper rifles, they just don't miss. So you're fighting a machine that's gonna, aim with micron-level accuracy, and never gets tired.
So how do you think the United States should be leveraging technology to further our national defense?
Well, I think we probably need to invest in drones. The United States is strong in terms of the technology of the items, but the production rate is low. So it's a small number of units, relatively speaking, but with basically, I think there's a production rate issue. Like the rate, if you say like how fast can you make drones? It's like if you say there's a drone conflict, the outcome of that drone conflict will be how many drones does each side have in that particular skirmish times the kill ratio. So if you've got, you can have let's say the United States would have a set of drones that have a high kill ratio, but then the other side has far more drones. If you've got a 2-to-1 kill ratio, the other side has 4 times as many drones, you're still going to lose.
Do you think our industrial base can scale to make the volume of drones that you're talking about?
I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. That is, it can scale, but it is not currently scaling.
Why would that be?
I think the procurement is still. I read a lot of military history and actually the thing that I go to sleep with is usually an audio book on military history of one kind or another. So I find the subject very interesting. And one of the things that tends to happen is that countries pretty much are geared up to fight the last war, not the next war. And it's hard to change. If you look at the uniforms at the start of World War I and the tactics and strategies they used at the start of World War I, they were not significantly different from the Napoleonic era. the French were marching into war with brightly colored uniforms. Looked great. That's not what you want to be. When somebody's trying to point a gun at you, you don't want a great-looking uniform. You want a uniform that blends in. So there's a tendency to be gearing up to fight the last war. And the last war the U.S. fought was kind of the Cold War, I guess. So it usually takes like some kind of shock factor to adjust. I would recommend adjusting now. And you are seeing some startups like Anduril and a few others that have a different mindset. But it's really, it's going to be, can you make a lot of drones? And what's the kill ratio? That's what it comes down to.
So there was recently a report that said that President Zelensky said by February 2025, there'll be 1 million drones produced by the Ukrainians. So it seems like it's doable, and this might be a process question. And we'll talk about process in a second. But as you were just talking, I was thinking about it, and you said that you can't have humans at the front. And so you haven't created a company that's solved aging yet, have you?
No.
Okay, so then in 100 years...
I wonder whether we should solve aging.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
I'd like to wrap it up sometimes, right?
Well, it's like, yeah. How long do you want Putin and Kim Jong-un to live?
Yeah, that's a great point, yeah. But let's say you go...
Don't get it first.
Let's say you go forward 50, 100 years. How do you envision this evolution? And I think this might get to Neuralink. How do you see this evolution between the human, who maybe can't be at the front any longer, the technology's at the front, yet keeping them integrated and synchronized? Like, how is that going to work in your mind?
I mean, so communications is essential. It is actually very important to have space-based communications that cannot be intercepted, which is Starlink. What Starlink offers. Starlink is the backbone of the Ukrainian military communication system because it can't be blocked by the Russians. Essentially, it's the only thing that can't be. So on the front lines, all the fiber connections are cut, the cell towers are blown up, and the geostationary satellite links are jammed. The only thing that isn't jammed is Starlink. So it's the only thing. And then GPS is also jammed. The GPS signal is very faint, but Starlink can offer location capability as well. So it is a strategic advantage that's very significant. And when you're trying to communicate with the drones need to, basically, they need to know where they are, and they need to receive instructions. So if you don't have communications and positioning, then the drones don't work. So that's quite important. It's essential.
But you find it important that there's still that communication between the human and the machine or the drone.
Yeah. Yes. And there's it's a different question of where are things right now versus where will things be in 10 years. But I have to say, I do look at the future with some trepidation. I have to have some deliberate suspension of disbelief to sleep sometimes, because I think we're headed into a pretty wild future. And I'm naturally an optimistic person, so but AI is going to be so good, including localized AI. I mean, at the current rates, you'll have something that's sort of rock level AI, probably that can be run on a drone. And so you could literally say, this is the equipment that the drone needs to destroy. Go into that thing, it'll recognize what equipment needs to be destroyed and take it out.
It's a lot of your work with Neuralink, though, is because what you're saying is that AI is going to quickly surpass, at least in your estimation, the human's ability to control it.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I'd like to say no, but the answer is yes.
So first off, how long until you think that happens? Before the AI has evolved to the point where, the AIs can start working together, even relying on computers, like in a dehobble